All right, welcome back to talkSPORT NFL. And Sunday night, we kickstart our Sunday coverage, having already done the first two games of the season with an absolute barnstormer, as the New York Jets face off with the Pittsburgh Steelers, live and exclusive on your home of the Jets on UK radio, talkSPORT. And a man that knows the UK pretty well from the first few years of his career, and a man who we're excited to see what he's going to do now. He's in gangrene. Now he's back home. Andre Cisco is with us. How are you doing? How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Very, very fortunate to be here, like you said, with gangrene. Happy to be on with you as well.
How does it feel being back home, a boy from Queens, and getting to play for one of the teams that represents your great city?
Man, it's a privilege and an honor. Like I said, just being from here makes it a little bit more special. Obviously, the NFL is a unique opportunity in and of itself, but being able to play in a familiar state around familiar people, and it's for a team I actually rooted for as well. It all comes together, and it's a dream every single day.
I didn't want to check in whether you were green or blue growing up, just in case I got the wrong answer. So it's good to hear that you were on the right side of things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I try to stay on that.
So has there been a lot of, for the opening game, a lot of tap up for tickets then? Have you, are there a lot of family coming out of the woodwork ready to come and see you get in that green?
Yeah, it happens, and it's a good feeling though. Being that I was far from home for a while, it's good to be closer to home and be getting those questions and requests because why not? And it's like I said, unique opportunity. So I want everyone to be able to get a chance to come. But yeah, a lot of requests.
How are you feeling going into year 5? Then how are you feeling going into the first season in a new team?
Man, I'm excited. I think this feels like a great group of guys, and like we're going to be ready for whatever comes. I think we've all accepted that the NFL season is going to be hard, and we all have an expectation to win. But winning doesn't come without issues, and so we expect to be a resilient bunch and just take all the problems and issues head on and come out with some dubs.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Tell us a little bit about, because obviously you're new to the regime, but it's a whole new regime there in New Jersey, right? So, first of all, fascinated by Aaron Glenn, a guy who is so popular around the league, who loads of people wanted to see get that opportunity. See a guy who played defensive back as well. How have you adapted to life under Aaron Glenn? What's he been like in this head coaching role?
Man, AG has just been very, very steady for us, just bringing the same energy every day, but being very intentional about everything that we do. And that keeps you all kind of on the same page. It keeps you buying in more and more because you can see that where he's taking you, he knows what he's talking about. And so I appreciate him, his direct level of communication, his ability to call guys out and call us out when we need it, good or bad. And so he's been doing a great job, and the coaching staff has also done a phenomenal job.
I'm fascinated because, Aaron Glenn there, Steve Wilks there. It feels like a very no-nonsense pairing looking after that side of the defense. We spent some time with Steve Wilks when he was in San Francisco and really enjoyed the way that he approached things. So for you coming into that situation, into a new situation, how steadying has all of that been for you?
Man, it's been great because, like you said, a no nonsense bunch, and that's no knock on us. That's what you want. And being that they're both guys with defensive backgrounds, they have a high expectation from me, but they also coach me well, and so I'm getting a lot better just by being under them. And they've been a great help and a great addition to what I got to do and continue to do to get better.
What's getting better for you? What is improving going into this year for you?
Man, the game just continues to slow down. Over the years, I've been asked to do different things as a safety. I want to say my first few years starting, I was primarily a free safety. So, really, if you watch the tape, mostly in the middle of the field, very rarely coming down into the box, very rarely playing man coverage. Over the past 2 years now, I've been playing a lot more in the box and doing different things. So, they've been doing a great job just giving me tools to excel no matter which position I'm in. Safety is one of those positions where you play a little bit of everything. Sometimes I look like a DN, sometimes I'm a linebacker, sometimes I'm a corner, sometimes I'm a safety. So it's a versatile position and it requires a lot. So they've been doing a good job just allowing me to continue to sharpen everything little by little.
I love the idea of you doing a lot. It's a weird thing that I happened to be there for that game, but I was at MetLife Stadium when you were there in 22. And I remember you hitting Zach Wilson like a heat-seeking missile coming out of the defensive backfield on just a massive blitz. And look, we know that Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilks both like to get a little bit aggressive. So might we see a bit more of you getting in the backfield this year as well as doing your thing in the box?
Man, God willing, I hope my number gets called. But yeah, man, it's gonna be just our mentality is attacking. So no matter what it looks like and how it is, it got to be an attacking style of play.
You your experience of being in that stadium, of being with those fans, of growing up there as well, when you get there to MetLife and you feel that it's going to be like a primetime atmosphere, Aaron Rodgers returning, all the storyline around that as well. How are you feeling about the fact that you are going to be out there in that stadium and your experience of those fans previously, what it's going to be like?
Man, I'm just taking it all in day by day. I think the preparation is the most important part now. I'll get to a point later in the week where I do practice some visualization, just put myself in those atmospheres mentally so that when I get there, I'm prepared for it and I can take it on, and meet the moment.
For you, and you talked about the talent on the back end of that defense. What have you seen from the guys in that room? And just starting off with your thoughts on Sauce Gardner, gets his big payday, gets touted as being one of the best in the NFL, but as a guy coming into that room, just what have you seen that makes him special?
Yes. Starting with Sauce, like you said, definitely a special talent. I think from the first day you see him, you can see, obviously great length and all the things, all the intangibles that you want as a person as well. And so just growing alongside him throughout this offseason has been a blessing and learning a lot, from him as well. And we sit next to each other in meetings. So we're able to talk a lot of ball. Smart kid and definitely a joy to be around. And the rest of the group, obviously the talent speaks for itself, but I want to highlight how close we are and how much we've been able to gravitate towards each other and grow, out off of the field and just getting to know each other. What's your why? What's your background? Tell us a little about yourself. We learn a lot about each other, and so that's the key to winning. That fans and other people don't get to see, but that's part of what goes into playing hard for each other on game day.
I think it's interesting to me because, that you say all of that because it is a young unit, and there was a lot of focus on the front. There's a lot of focus on the pass rush. I think fairly so. It's incredibly talented, right? But you come across as like a vet on a back end that has a bunch of guys who are sitting right around that third, fourth year mark, right? Guys like Michael Carter, who I think is one of the best nickels in the NFL. Love to watch him play. Can't wait to see him back. And I'm kind of fascinated. Is there somebody who steps out? Is there a big leader in the room, or is it very much like a committee situation?
I would say, I think, like you said, being a little older, there's certain things that people would look towards me or Brandon Stevens for, right? Being that we're a little bit older, there's certain things that, because guys like Tony Adams and Sauce have been here, you look to them for. There's certain guys like Isaiah Oliver, who's, year 8, who's played the most ball and has been on the most teams that you look to him for. So, and has played in Wilk's system as well. So there's, like you said, I think committee may be the best word for it because we all are leaders in our own right.
Tell me a little bit about, as a football thinker, what you've seen on the other side of the ball, what you've seen in practice, and particularly what you've seen from Justin Fields coming into that unit.
Yeah, I think what I'm most excited to see from the offense is that we have a style of play that we're going to continue to enforce and continue to dominate, whether it's the run game or it's the passing game. I believe that we have a very consistent brand that the offense is trying to maintain, and that's what excites me. I think it's hard when you don't know what your offense is going to excel at, but I know what our offense is going to excel at because I've been practicing against them each and every day. And so you don't need to be good at everything in this league right away. I think eventually you get to that point where you're firing on all cylinders and everything is perfect. But I'm happy with the fact that we have Justin Fields leading our team, and he's dangerous with the ball in his hands. We've seen a lot of that through camp.
It's fascinating to me that Aaron Glenn had great success in Detroit, but one team who consistently had success against his defense was Justin Fields when he was playing with the Bears, and that run game, and it was very good against what Aaron Glenn did in terms of the aggression, and I like the idea that he went, I can see where those strengths are, I can see how he can beat teams, I can bring that guy in and we can make that work. Like, that to me is exciting, that it's somebody who gets it, right? Because I kind of feel like maybe they didn't get it in Pittsburgh last year. Not talking down about other teams, but they didn't get him doing what he was special at. And I still think there are things he can be special at.
Yeah, that's I agree with that, and I think it is a unique position to have been in Aaron Glenn's shoes, watching Justin from the other sideline, knowing like, man, I don't know what to do with this guy, and then partnering with other coaches and people to say, this is what I think Justin's best at. And then also it's important for your head coach to see the best in you. He empowers, he encourages, and I'm sure him and Justin's relationship is one that continues to allow Justin to grow.
I was looking back over kind of the times we have spoken when you've been in London, or times you've been in London before I knew we were going to chat today. And I was reminded of a certain event that happened when you were over in Europe for a summer, where you took on Micah Parsons in a foot race. And the video shows it, man. You had him. You absolutely had him. Would you still beat him in a foot race? Is that a rematch that you would take on at some point?
Yeah, I like me in that. I think we're both getting older, right? And so he's a little bit older than me. But yeah, I still like myself in that race. That was a good day for me though. Felt light that day.
What did you make of that blockbuster move for a guy that you're obviously friendly with?
Yeah, that was crazy. And I think happy for him. Obviously, the contract and things like that you can't overlook. Obviously that situation didn't look like it was getting any healthier. So I'm glad he got a new environment with a team that can compete. And so I'm glad. I'm excited to see him play.
And hey, you feeling that yourself? I think Jacksonville have got a good chance of being good this year. I really do. But sometimes the situation doesn't fit. And for yourself, a chance to get in a new situation and prove that sometimes that's the best thing for someone, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Coming back to London as well. You can't get away from us. You're coming back for the Broncos in week 6. Ready for that transatlantic, ready to come and show us what you can do?
Yeah, year 5 in a row for me. I haven't missed a year in London. So, yeah, I'm excited. London's always been fun. I've been the unique situation where we spent 2 weeks in London for the past 2 years. So I'm well acquainted with, the setup and how they succeed out there. And, I want to definitely share some of that knowledge with guys because I know it's a tough transition.
Absolutely love it. Look, man, we're really excited to see you get out here in week 6. We're excited to see what you do on Sunday, going up against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. That's got to be a fun matchup to be thinking about and prepping for week 1.
Yeah, most definitely. It's going to present a lot of challenges for us, and so we're excited, man. It's a good group. We're a good group, and we're already laid out there and play.
Is it difficult prepping for a week 1 when you don't have tape that is current on an offensive team, the way a player is going to be in a role? Like, is it much more difficult?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's difficult, but when you look back later in the year on how much more you have on teams compared to what you were using week 1, you look back like, man, we was using everything we had, the little we had, obviously, to prep for these games. But most of the time there's a lot of carryover. I mean, you're not going to reinvent the wheel over the off season, but yeah, we're guaranteed to see some new things for sure.
Exciting. Look, Andre, really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good last few days up until Sunday, and we'll see you on the field at the weekend.
Cool. Thank you, man.